prodding at Bill, you get to the place where he forgets. He'll say, now, so-and-so, now who was that? He'll turn to me and I've just got it right on the tip of my tongue.
What's the date for it?
I have to look at the paper, I don't know. I think it's the 19th. Yes. The 19th.
Yeah, May 19th, 1987.
I signed a check the other day and put 1988. I hope somebody catches it.
Is this considered Ponca City?
Yes.
Do you live in Ponca City? Where were you born?
When?
Yes, ma'am.
Where?
When and where?
December the 28th, 1908.
You were born in Fairmont?
That was state. Well, see, we became a state in 1907, so I was born in the state.
And who was your father?
Newton. Eldridge Newton. Henley.
Elbridge Newton? Was that his last name?
Henley is his last
Oh,
name.
Henley. That was your maiden name?
My maiden name?
Yeah, Henley.
Uh-huh.
Who was your mother?
Lena. She turned over in her grave as she knew I was telling that to anybody. She hated it.
She did.
Well, there was a book came out about the time she was born called Lena Rivers, and they named her after that book. That was down in Texas.
Tell me some. I like getting some more stuff from the Miller Brothers. Stories you've heard about.
Well, I don't know too much. As I said, this is not my part of the state, but I do know there were crooks. One was the agriculturist, one was the cattleman, and one was the financier, I guess. And this was all orchard down here. See, we're just north of the 101 range. In fact, I think the highway up here is the northern border of the ranch.
When did you start working for Conoco?
Oh boy. I can't even remember when I retired. Bill has to tell me.
What'd you do for them?
What?
What'd you do for Conoco? What kind of work did you do for the company?
I was in the financial accounting. I was a check writer first, and then I graduated to assistant supervisor in accounts payable.
Hot might burn the fur off your tongue.
Good. Why did Morgan take over Conoco? What happened?
They just outsmarted Marland. That's what I always heard.
Yeah, I heard.
You interviewing her? Good. That's all right. She's got quite a story to tell.
When did that takeover occur? When did Morgan take over Marland Oil?
When was that, honey?
I don't know too much about Conoco.
You know, just all of a sudden my mind has gone blank on all the things that didn't happen way back. Hot.
That's good.
Conoco was a closed issue to Indians down through the years, except during World War II. When the young men went out to battle, they began hiring Indians.
Well, Conoco didn't hire Indians?
I don't know what the policy was, but hardly any Indians were working at Conoco prior to World War II.
They didn't want to work.
No, that's not it. Well, they were, at that time, everybody was going through what I call the throes of depression.
Mm-hmm.
The Indians were supposed to be farmers. The government wanted them to, farm their own land. And they wouldn't give them tractors. And my dad wanted a tractor and they wouldn't do it. They gave him a team of horses.
Why wouldn't they give the Indians tractor?
Well, they felt like they didn't have the technological know-how to, maintain them and keep them going. They feared constant breakdowns, and cost of the breakdown themselves, the Indians couldn't cope with, so they said, you work with horses for a while. So they gave my dad a team of horses, and a harness, and a single bottom plow. And he plowed a whole 80 acres with one plowshare.
80 acres.
Behind 2 horses. All day long he had the reins around the back of his neck, and he'd handle them. I'm amazed
That's a
coped.
That's a lot of plowing.
Yes, and he farmed along those lines for years. I won't say for years.
Under their feet.
But no matter how hard they worked, the Depression had truly set in the 30s, and I was 6 and 7 years old, and all of us kids were in Indian schools and in boarding schools by then. But all the Indians were in the farming business. Well, you know yourself, the Depression took its toll on everybody. And I remember the last year my dad farmed, the Indians used to help each other on bundle wagons, and pitching bundles and thrashing crews and all that. Women would cook. It was a good thing going, but it was a losing proposition because prices were against these Indians. And last year, my dad farmed, I forget what he was, well, there was so many deductions on his wheat crop that year that he didn't make a cent for all his efforts.
He didn't have to furnish his own seed, did he?
I believe that was given to them by the government. But I'm not mistaken. I believe the government gave him the seed to start him out, But that year, I remember he was docked with smut, I don't know what all, moisture content. When all was said and done, I think he cleared a penny on each bushel of wheat. And all these Indian crews said, we don't want anybody to. Everybody's having a hard time since. That's when most of them got knocked out of the farming
Who was
business.
president then?
Hoover.
Hoover.
And actually Roosevelt came in later, started this New Deal, National Recovery Act and all that. Things began going on the upswing there. And then from there, the Indians went into this CCC, what they call the Civilian Conservation Corps, And their job was to plant trees, what's called shelter belts. You see them around the reservation today. And they had what's called a CCC hall down at the White Eagle sub-agency. At that time, the White Eagle was a sub-agency of Pawnee. The regional office was at Pawnee, and they called White Eagle a sub-agency. They had a man down there, he was kind of like an extension worker. His name was Mac Primo. And they gave him custody of all the pressure cookers, and they wanted the Indians to have what's called a community garden set up down there. They allocated about half an acre to each family. And they plowed it up, and they gave them seed, and all these Indians would work down there in their gardens and tended them. And by the time for harvest came, them days they didn't can in jars. They canned in cans. They had a canning set up down there, and all the Indians would take the produce down there, those that had it, and they'd can them. Actually put them in cans, like canned goods today. Set them aside for the winter. They tried all those things, but the depression was so severe that no matter what people try to do in those days, it just didn't give them any livable income at all.
Were you in the CCC Indian?
No, I wasn't.
You're too young.
At that time, I was in an Indian boarding school.
Okay.
Of course, I was born in 1924, you know. Yes, in the 30s, well, I was just a little bitty fella. But I remember all those activities going on in the tribe, and later on, I remember they even had a women's arts and crafts club.
Yeah, you have a picture of the group.
And all they did was what they were trying to do was to give these Indians something to do, and they wanted them to revive their crafts. Oh, such things as buckskin dressmaking. And they even started from the ground up on carding wool. They sit there and card wool. Then they'd use spinning wheels and make fiber. All that stuff was going on down there. There was about pretty close to 35 Indian women that saw fit to utilize their knowledge of what they grew up with, you know, and put it to use. Out of all that, I remember one incident that came up where they had a contest in the state among Indian arts and crafts groups to see who can make the most beautiful buckskin dress. And every Indian women's organization joined that. It was who's best at what, you know.
They had to tan their own skin.
Yeah, they started from the ground up.
How'd they tan the hides?
Brains,
My mother knew the
blood.
process, but I know the main ingredients were brains and blood. I don't know how that process works, but I remember after they get the rawhide deer, they spread it on the ground with the hair on the opposite side facing the ground, and they spread that brains and blood over the whole skin, you know. And somehow, after an overnight process, whatever that brains and blood did, it would do its thing and make that buckskin pliable.
Must have been steak
It
too.
would do something to it. They'd have to flesh the hide naturally to get all the excess meat and fat off, you know. And they later de-haired it by scraping. And then came a rinsing process. My mother was, well, she took that art with her. As far as I know, there's no one in the tribe right now, I could be wrong, that is familiar with making buckskin from the ground up. And then I remember after soaking and drying it, I remember like two of them sawing wood. One would be on the other side of the tree, an upright tree, and one would be on this side, and one would pull and put like sawing wood, you know, roughing that skin, but it would make it soft, pliable, and tender. It wouldn't be stiff and hard like dried rawhide or something.
Yeah.
It would come out truly buckskin. They'd have a beautiful snow white cloth. And then the Kiowas and Comanches and the Apaches went one step further. They smoked theirs. Whereas they started out with a white buckskin, by the time they smoked it, it would turn yellow. And I remember the Apaches and Kiowas, a lot of them back there in what I'll call the hinterlands, wore yellow buckskin dresses, smoked.
I have
But
an
anyway,
Indian.
what I was getting at was, out of all that, this contest, to make a long story short, Ponca's won. And the recipient of that dress was Eleanor Roosevelt. So whatever happened to that dress, I don't know.
It's probably at Hyde Park at the Roosevelt.
More than
Statue.
likely,
Yeah.
Hyde Park Museum or something.
Yeah.
But I'm sure she never wore it. she was a proud possessor of a most beautiful buckskin dress in the state of Oklahoma,
And,
made by the Ponca Indians.
and
Women.
you say your mother,
Huh?
your mother helped make the dress?
Yeah.
What was her name, your mother?
Misa Collins.
Lisa.
Misa Waters Collins. Anyway, they went through a crisis on that because, you know, all the hullabaloo going down in that, somebody had spilled ink on that buckskin. And that was a spot the Indians couldn't comprehend or cope with. Tragedy was in the whole thing. So they got a bright idea and they took it up to the cleaners here in Ponca City. And by God, I forget the cleaning establishment, but whatever it was, they got that buckskin ink stain out without a trace.
I think buttermilk takes it out. Well, I have an Indian sister. She adopted me, and when somebody brings buckskin to her to make something, before she says she'll take it, she sticks her needle in that buckskin. Some of it's not pan dried and it just clamps down on the needle. You can't pull it through, so she checks it and sees it, and her needle will go through. Oh, she makes some gorgeous things.
Resort to beeswax too,
Beeswax.
to facilitate the needle and thread going through and in and out of the buckskin. Otherwise, like she says, it holds.
What are the traditional designs of the Conquerors? What? You know, your Plains Indians do a lot of geometric designs, and your Eastern tribes use floral designs.
Just about whatever you can imagine in regard to Indian designs, the Poncas utilized. Like for instance,
No
they made
flowers. The
the,
Crows
you
use
know,
flowers.
the triangle might represent a peak. I mean, the pyramid factor. And they made steps pyramid factor. And they had that deal where you draw lines in those three things representing clouds, rain coming down, things like that. They utilized all of that. Even the swastika.
Yeah, they had that long before Hitler
Oh yeah.
adopted it.
Hitler though. I remember before World War II, there was suddenly an influx of a lot of German men and women coming in and among the tribe. Unknown to us, they were applying us for Ponca language. Key words in the Ponca language that might be used in World War II. They had thought that much far ahead. That they came among the Indians here in the island. They went to every tribe.
They were probably Nazis.
And they knew what the Indians liked. Unfortunately, they brought us a lot of beer, pickles, and salami, and bologna, you know, light bread. Well, we thought we were in paradise. We were so poor, you know, we just gobbled all that up. The women plied us. They made themselves very attractive. They were blonde, you know. Whatever dances we engaged in, they partook in, and we held their swaying hips and all that, you know, at the time of our lives. Still, they applied the old folks out of the Ponca language key words that were considered would be useful in communications. That if the United States ever resorted to using Indians as communications lines and information and all that, they would know what's going on.
You know, they did.
They wanted to intercept, but
Yeah.
the only one they missed was the Navajos.
That's where they got their secret code.
And the United States realized that, and in the end, they utilized these Navajo linguistic specialists, and they were able to transmit messages without the Germans intercepting.
You know, there are also some Comanche code talkers.
Yeah, there's several of them that
Yeah.
made a major breakthrough. And, I don't recall who all, but it came out of ETA, educational television, about the ones that the Germans and the Japanese were not able to comprehend. Therefore, 2 Indians on one line. Various schools were being broken up, but they couldn't break this Indian language. They made it an immeasurable contribution to the war effort on that line.
I got a Navajo in hysterics one time at, where was that? It was out in New Mexico.
Right there in Gallup. We went to a shopping center.
Listened to the news on the radio in the morning, and every other word was nos. Peace, nos, pa, and nos. And I said, what does nos mean? Well, Bill knows a little Navajo, but he didn't know that, so we went to this big tribal store, and this clerk didn't know. She said, let me call this stockkeeper over. And I said, what does nos mean? Because they just use it every other word in the broadcast, and he didn't know. He said, nice, niece, nos. And finally I kept asking him questions, and he was about to get hysterical, and I said, let's just give it up. We were just dying laughing. It was the funniest thing. And I finally asked a Navajo woman that was here for a dance. She said, oh, it's something. She said, I can't quite tell you. It's something about tall trees. I thought maybe sycamores or aspens. But that was the funniest thing. I never will forget that. That poor Navajo was just going to pieces right in front of me. But it's a very important word in their tribal language.
When did the Miller brothers first come here to this part of the country?
Oh, 1906, wasn't it?
Might have been somewhere in that early era.
You mentioned they lived in a dugout.
Yeah, along the Salt Fork River there. They buttressed it, you know.
Where'd they come from? Pennsylvania?
I don't know where it came
I've heard it was it Kentucky, Ohio? Because someone said the old man spent time in prison for counterfeiting. The old man Miller. He was caught counterfeiting back east, and he spent some time in the federal prison.
Well, right now I can't even think of the third Miller brother. I know Joe and Zach and
Zach and George.
George, yeah.
George Jr.
Well, this joker downtown named Joe Miller, he's a descendant of George.
We also saw this donkey baseball team. These donkeys got loose and ran over Zach, didn't they? Injured him, and he finally died from it. I think I heard later he had cancer anyway, but
The old man at the nursing home was with him when he was trampled by them donkeys, you know. They were loading him up. I don't know why. They loaded him up. They got restless and agitated and couldn't corral him, you know. The old man couldn't move fast enough, and they bowled him over and trampled him. That trampled pretty darn good. My dad said he held him in his arms while he was babbling, but he never recovered from that. Poor man Zach. He went right from there into weakened condition. He went into recession.
Yeah.
And he contracted pneumonia, and the cancerous condition closed in on him, and he died in Ponca City.
another one was killed out here at the curve of the tank farm.
That was Joe.
Where was the third one? You know, they've tried their best to restore that 101 ranch home, and money's been contributed.
They made a death mask of Joe.
They did.
I don't know how they did it. I guess they coated his face with wax probably and then plastered and took that. For years that mask was laying down on a shelf in a store. We'd always look at it and pick it up.
You said that the Millers got another land.
Subterfuge.
Yeah.
Hanky panky.
My mother and father always said at the point of a gun. And I told you at the time, you know, that even though these Indians helped them out, well, later they rustled their cattle and got their start. And then they let these Indians buy all that bacon and ham and sausage on credit down there, and they run up a big credit bill, and then they just call them in one day and say, sign here. And there was Ponca Indian clerk working down there at that time. His name was, but his last name was McDonald. Can't think of his name.
Joe?
Huh?
Joe?
No,
The dancer?
no, that's Gus.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, his name was, the last name was McDonald. He became quite prominent in the Cheyenne tribe. What I mean is he was in the tribal council for years, you know. When he got his start as a clerk in Harlan Ranch, I don't know why they hired him, but he must have been capable. He was in on all that groundwork.
He was.
Robbing the Indians, you know, their lands. So the Indians kind of began to turn on old Zach and the Miller brothers there, but I remember when I was little, I'd go down there and they'd, every fall, on the end of summer, they have their big rodeo. And they had bleachers on three sides of the arena, on the west side and the south side and the north side. And the west side bleachers and the north side were covered with an overhanging roof, where all the black people and dignitaries sat. So the north side of the bleachers was just exposed. They were just bleachers. He reserved that for the Ponca Indians. In other words, we didn't have to pay. We could sit in where we wanted and watch the rodeo without cost. And he also provided us a big lemonade stand. Whenever we got thirsty and hungry, we ran and drink all the lemonade we wanted. So in his own peculiar, maybe if you want to call it out of a guilt conscience, he was paying the Ponca Indians back. But at that time also, he not only hired some of the most talented Indian riders, he actually had, you know, a huge Wild West show. But he had a large contingent of Sioux Indians down here. And they lived down there in teepees. They didn't live in board houses or... They lived according to their old ways. In them days, nowadays they got what they call calf roping in rodeos. Them days they had steer roping. Steer about this tall, almost full grown. Oh, they had a big head of horns too. These cows boys would rope them steers, you know, and sometimes they'd hook them by the horns. And they'd jerk them horns clear off, tear their skulls, you know, damn near kill them. At the end of the day of the rodeo session, there'd always be 2 or 3 dead steers. They just say, give them to the Indians. They'd be butchering them steers, you know.
It's like at the bullfights in Mexico City. I understand that
Drying meat and
bulls
everything,
are
you know.
prime beef.
Those
They
Sioux
eat all over.
were thriving on that. A lot of them got brave when those cowboys were all banded together, you know. They do a lot of gambling at the end of the day, too. A lot of them Indians join, a lot of these Ponca Indians will go down there and gamble.
You've seen the Indian dice, haven't you? They're little
Including-
round, flat discs, and they put them in a
Oh,
wooden bowl.
tell me again about how they got the name of the 101 Ranch.
Well, like I said, at that time, the Indian Department, or the BIA, what we call nowadays, as one of their programs to help the Ponca tribe. Of course, they help the tribe in many ways. They built a school, you know. They built homes. They gave them wagoning teams. They built churches. Gave them blankets, shoes, everything. Call them government issue these days. A lot of calico cloth, you know, women could make their own dresses. Anyway, along with that, like I told you, they gave them 10 heifers and a bull. And all the original 10 members who were the recipients were branded with the ID. And ID meant Indian Department. I told these Indians, each heifer, calves, or has a calf or child, you keep the calf and we'll take the mother back, because it's got that ID brand. Well, it was after them, like I said, they found the Indians to be friendly and trustworthy, and they were quickly and easily taken into confidence by drinks, alcoholic drinks. Anyway, they got to just rustling the cattle, herding them away from the Indian homes, and eventually herding them in stock cars and wagons and whatever, and they take them up to the shipping terminal in Omaha, Nebraska, and Arkansas City was a terminal at that time. And, they got a pretty good start like that. Money began coming in from the rustled cattle. And they branded those cattle with I don't know whose idea it was, but they made that 101 brand. And I replaced the original Indian, and the D was covered with a 0. And they just added an additional 1 and got that 101 brand.
They tell around here it was because they had 101,000 acres, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's not true. That's the story the Millers tell. How did the Millers get their land?
Well, just like I told you, at the point of a gun. All that land down along the river was obtained by
There's an
Florida,
army
Florida
payroll
means.
down there in that river. If you want to go look for it, get your metal detector.
My dad's got a good story about these gypsies coming up from Brazil, you know. I guess at that time you might call it a migratory sort of situation in Brazil. The Brazilians would come north in covered wagons. Being the gypsies that they were, they lived off the land as they went. Those gypsy women were, you know, a lot of them were beautiful. And they'd chorus these Indian men and ply them with a few drinks. All the while, the gypsy men were plundering their chicken houses and taking their chickens and eggs. They were living off the land as they were going north. You know. And they come through here one year. And my dad's father, Charles Collins, was living about 2.5 miles east of the Ponca Indian Cemetery. The Ponca Indian Cemetery's got a hill you have to climb from the south. And all that is bottom land down there. And my dad recalls the amount of wagons was 104 wagons, Brazilians. But he didn't know what was going on until this gypsy came riding up to the house. His horse was lame, and he wanted to get back to the covered wagon caravan, but he also wanted to make a phone call. And he called a doctor in Ponca City. He got a hold of Dr. Gardner at that time. said, we need a lot of doctors out here. There's a lot of women and children hurt. And some dead people. And he himself was shot in the upper lip. And his upper lip was protruding like this, you know. His mustache and beard made twice as ugly. He was wild-eyed anyway, you know. And the old man told my father to take him back to the wagon on a horse. So the old man saddled up. He got on his horse. His gypsy got behind him. He went on to my dad, you know. That horse never did ride double. It began broken, you know. That gypsy was hanging on for dear life. His hat flew off and everything. But they galloped up to the cemetery, and my dad saw all the ravaging. But what had happened, the Brazilians had plundered so many of them Ponca homes along the river there that a lot of them knew no recourse but to run to the Hunterman Ranch and notify Zach and his cowboys, you know. Zach got all his cowboys together, and must have been 200 or 300 of them, and they sped eastward along the river and found this wagon train that was stretched out for a whole mile. They shot him up because these Indians complained, you know, they took their chickens and their hogs, whatever else they could get their hands on, you know. Brazilians were bad them days. They were noted for that.
What year was that?
Huh?
What year was that, you know?
Well, my dad said he was about 9 or 10 years old, so he was born in 1897.
1906,
Around 12 or 13.
Yeah.
The Northern Ranch was really in full sway at that time, you know. But he said by the time he got there, Dr. Wagner comes speeding out there in his little buggy, you know, one-horse buggy. And he had a nurse with him. And Dad said he saw a lot of gypsy women bringing their little dead babies and wounded babies and were shot inadvertently, I guess. You know. Several dead guys. My dad, he didn't watch the doctoring process. He went down the line flirting with them gypsy girls, he said. Oh, that was pretty nice. But anyway, he remembers came time for settlement, the payment. Well, they even had a gypsy queen. Well, she said she was white-headed. Instead of being curly and bushed up, she was braided. Her hair looked golden, he said. Man, she spoke that Brazilian accent, just spitting it out, because she was about half Mac. I don't know how much Dr. Gardner charged, but they protested. The gypsies said it was too much money. This same guy that came down to my dad's house and made the phone call, he got in an altercation with Dr. Gardner, and Dr. Gardner hit him right in the mouth with that all that swollen lip already. He got a double whammy that day, you know. Dr. Gardner fought for his, you know, wages. I guess you had to them days, you know, if you're going to be a survivor. But in the end, he got his money, and that gypsy queen paid him off in gold. Yeah.
Let me come lift me up, please. So, you know, the gypsies were bad in those days when I was a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
When they were coming down the street in Claremore, my mother always called me in the house because they were noted for kidnapping little white girls and selling them for ransom, I guess.
You told me a story about finding a lot of bodies in the river or something, or in the creek.
I said skulls
Where was that?
down in
Mouth of the Bodog.
What?
Mouth of the Bodog Creek emptying into the
Yep.
Salt Fork River, you know.
Where were they from? Any idea?
Cowboys,
And
probably.
mostly Hunterman Ranch cowboys.
Who killed them?
Millers.
Well, the Miller brothers had their foreman, get them out there with trouble raisers, rabble rousers, and there's always some bad eggs in a basket, And they gradually weeded them out and eliminated them. Put up a protest about wages or anything, well, they might let you protest for a while, but eventually you have to pay the piper. You dance or you gotta pay the piper.
So they were killing their own cowboys.
You
then.
sure? Weeding them out,
Would you like
Patricia
Phil to
went.
have on one of his dance shirts when you start to?
Yeah, I need to go on downtown because it's 20 after 11 now. I'm supposed to meet that lady for lunch.
Huh?
I'm supposed to meet that lady for lunch,
What lady?
Jan Johnson. And we're going to talk about the program about the Oklahoma women display. And are you?
Pick out some pick the green beans out of the
You
drivers.
driving? Oh, I see. You through now?
No, ma'am, not yet.
Why you not?
Well, I need you to sit down for a little bit, please.
Sit down for what?
So I ask you some more questions.
I ain't gonna tell you a that blame thing.
Well, why not?
'Cause I don't have to. You ain't none of my boss.
That's
You
true.
ain't none of my mama. You ain't none of my papa. You're not my auntie. You're not my cousin. You're not my uncle. And what right I got to be telling you anything?
Grandma, what was your mama's name? Was her name Sarah? I'm trying to find out, was that 3 generations? Yeah.
Listen, nobody don't know what my mama's name was. See, nobody but me. That's all what knows what her name was. And now, if James was living, he could tell you.
Who?
James, my brother, he couldn't tell you. But see, she told me, when we was in Arkansas, like men's do now, tracing around with other women, my mama was named Mary Crenshaw. That's what she was named. See, and after my daddy went to gun with this other woman, she got mad because this woman was named like her. She changed her name to Sarah. That's the reason she was named Sarah. Her name was natural Sarah. Her name was Mary. Now you know what your grandma's name is now. Nobody didn't know her name but me. See, she told me. Oh! Girl, good God Almighty. Ooh, it's a good thing that man was there, because you'd have fell backwards down there on that ground. Good God. You better say, oh God, that man was standing there.
Oh, yeah.
See, I'm a good guy.
I didn't say you was bad. Did I say that time you was bad?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Well, then where'd you get that idea?
I didn't. It's just stuck in my head.
Well, I'm going to strike in your back.
Well, that'll get it out of my head then.
I bet you he'll know me from now on. I bet you. I don't care where I go. I declare, you is a huge mess.
I've been a mess for years. But you know, I think you've been a mess longer than I have.
You ain't lying. You sure know what to say. 'Cause I was in the world before you was.
And what was your papa's name?
Say what?
What was your papa's name?
What good is that doing telling you that, blame it?
Well,
Huh?
so Sarah will know.
I don't care. She didn't ask. You the one asked it. No, I ain't telling her that blame thing. 'Cause you telling her what to say.
No.
Yes, you did. I'm looking right at you, and so hush, ain't no need you telling me that.
No, you just hearing things.
Shut up.
Yes, ma'am.
Boy, with all these braids on your head, like a girl.
His name was Benjamin. His name was Benjamin. My grandpa. My great-great-grandpa wasn't.
Benjamin?
Who was Benjamin?
Who is Benjamin?
That's only great-grandpa.
Who is Benjamin? I don't know about no Benjamin. Benjamin was my daughter. I been you.
You have another daughter?
The baby girl, her name was I been you.
Oh. See, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, my baby girl was named Avenger.
She was younger than Frances? I mean, younger than...
Younger than Frances.
Younger
I
than
thought
you?
y'all quit talking one of
Yeah,
these days.
she was, I tell you, she was
Had them
she's a
streaks.
baby.
Oh.
Are you going to,
Sugar, her picture's in here. Avenger.
Is it?
you want to make sure these pictures get back?
Yeah.
I want a picture with her.
Okay.
And look at my ugliness.
Oh, look your ugliness.
Look at my ugliness.
Look your ugliness.
This is my granddaughter.
Smile, you don't care.
This is
All
my
right.
granddaughter.
Smile.
Bless her heart.
That thing is
Oh, Reed.
magnificent.
Is she looking at the tongue out at you?
Put the stick down. You don't want to see that stick on the picture.
I will knock him out.
Well, it's going to be on the picture.
Where's my pretty girl?
She's out there with Felicia. She's helping Felicia babysit, she thinks.
Baby said,
She thinks.
oh, sure. Is you satisfied now, dear?
No, ma'am.
Oh, Grandma, I need to know some things from my book. I'm trying to get a book together for our family. Where I work at.
Come here, let me show you Avenger.
Just like it is, just like the school, you know. I was telling you about I got a school book. Elizabeth, Sarah, Elizabeth Hopkins,
And where were you born?
Chickasaw. Chickasaw Nation.
And when's your birthday?
November the 8th, 1910.
1910.
Brother McCarroll.
Yeah, I know he's the
Shut up, Skipper! Popeye fool.
That man didn't say nothing, did he? Did he say something?
I'm talking about Skipper.
I said, what did people say?
He ain't gonna say nothing. He
But
gonna keep going.
you said shut up.
I sure did. Oh, shut up, man. I don't care if I do. That's what I do in church house. I can't shut out in the church house. I'll just fall down in the church house. And if it was some other way, it sure would make a lot of noise.
Wasn't you grinning at that man?
Huh?
Were you grinning at that man?
What man?
Put past that while ago.
What man?
Skipper. Skipper.
Oh, no, I wasn't really Skipper.
Who was you grinning at?
You better shut up.
Who was you grinning? You grinning at somebody.
Did you know your grandparents?
Grandma. Did you know your grandparents?
Huh?
Did you know your grandparents? Their name? Well, tell me their name. I need to know.
Well, I just be doggone.
Please, ma'am.
What y'all wants me to lay out everything when I was got, when I was had, and everything they fed me and cleaned me and everything. I'll come on out and tell every bit of it.
Okay.
I shit in the diapers. I pissed in the diapers. They washed me. They kept me clean. Now what else you want to know?
You want to know who your grandpa was?
None of your business.
See, Grandma, you told me you was going to tell me.
Y'all want to know the history of my life, don't you? Y'all kept up with me. Then y'all know me. And you want to make a book.
Yes, ma'am, so I can pass it down to my son.
Oh, your son.
Yes, ma'am.
Show the son. I'm going to knock him out.
So, Grandma, so it's bad enough Grandma getting me
My
now.
grandpa named Henry Crenshaw. My grandma's name was Narcissa Crenshaw. Now, what else you want to know about them?
Where were they born?
What?
Were they born?
I didn't ask them where they was born.
Was
Wasn't
they
none of my
born here?
business.
they born in Oklahoma? I mean,
Oh, well, how big dog? They couldn't been born in Oklahoma, girl. What's the matter with you? You're going crazy, ain't you? You know they couldn't been born in Oklahoma. And I wasn't born in Oklahoma. And how was they going to be born in Oklahoma? They was in the world before I was. I didn't ask them where was they born. So it wasn't none of my business. Ain't like the generation is now. Want to know the history of your life. When was you got? How was you got? Which way was you laying? And everything.
Mr. Frank,
Oh, I laid out too. Which way was the lane? How was the lane? And everything. See, I don't know that. I didn't ask them that. Because, see, children nowadays ask you, the parents, different things than the children did then. Children didn't do what the children are doing now at all, no kind of way. They didn't run the streets and nothing. See, children's wild nowadays. See, when I was coming up, I didn't run the streets. It wasn't but just two of us together, me and a white girl. And all the two be together. It's me and her. You couldn't tell the difference in us two, no more than by looking in our face. By we going from you, you couldn't tell one from the other. That's the way we was raised. See, you ain't raised that way now.
do you remember her name?
No. So we were small. We just visited each other. We played together. We just didn't go to school together. That's all. The difference. But we was together every day. She sure was a nice little girl. Let him know. See, now look, you gonna make him fall. That's what my sticks do. I don't never get
Ma'am?
up and use my...
Were your grandparents born in slavery?
Yeah,
They were?
yeah.
They ever talk about the
They
slave?
was in slavery.
They ever talk about the slave days?
My mama talked about that.
What you say
And
about
I
it?
know about slavery.
What you say about it?
Well, I be. When do you think I can keep up with all of that kind of mess?
Up there.
Uh-uh. No, I got something else to think about besides think about that slavery time.
Like what?
Mm-mm. I got to think how to make a living.
How you make a
Stay here-
living?
And stay here alive.
How do you make a living?
What, how you say?
I don't know.
Well, how you make a living? By standing up here talking to me?
Yes, ma'am.
Uh-huh. Well, I ain't gonna talk to you no more because that's the way you're making your living. Bye.
Be right back.
Oh, rats gone with his back. They'll show you dry that thing. Ooh, that gal flies with that thing.
When did you see your first car?
Huh?
When did you see your first car? When did you see your first car?
For me?
Yeah.
My first car I seen was in 1900 and, I guess, 1927, I believe. I believe it was 1927, because I married in 1928.
What'd you think about it?
I was scared of it. I don't know what I thought about it, but I know one thing, I hid.
Was scared of the car.
I hid. When I seen the car coming, I hid.
Ma'am, what'd you do when you saw your first car?
You just looked at it like something crazy. I want to know what it was. Because you know what a car was. All them wheels on it, going up and down the road like something crazy. They foolish to me, yeah. I don't see no sense in them. But I can get in and ride, but I still don't see no sense in it.
Well, how would you ride if you didn't have a car?
I ain't got no car. No, I ain't got no car. These are my cars right here. That takes me where I go.
Back when you were on the farm, what brand of wagon did you have?
Huh?
What brand of wagon did you have on the farm?
On the farm.
Yeah. You have a Studebaker wagon?
Well, I don't know about no different in the names of wagons then. Shit, no more than I do now, 'cause I don't pay wagons and no attention. Cars either, I just see them, that's all.
How'd
You
you
can't
keep,
tell me, I can't tell you what make of cars and nothing.
how'd you keep the tires tight on the wagon?
With a wrench, monkey wrench,
I mean, you know, the metal rim on the outside?
yeah.
How'd you keep that tight?
With the wrench,
With a wrench.
yeah.
You had bolts on them?
Yes,
Water. Papa used to put water, put his tires,
yeah,
him
great
using
big.
water.
Mm-hmm.
If he didn't put them in the water, he put water on them before he go to town and place.
And what they do?
Keep the rim tight on the spoke.
I mean, just regular water.
Yes, regular
Yes, water what you
Sometimes
drink.
Put them in the tank.
Uh-huh.
Put them in the tank
And they
overnight
swell,
and let
they
that,
swell and tighten.
let that swell
Yeah,
up.
it swell and tighten.
How'd you grease the axles?
You talking to me or her?
Oh, both of you. How'd you grease the axles on the
Taking
wagon?
the wheel, pull the wheel off of the hub and Papa had a board and he'd smear that axle grease on that axle and push it back.
I think I got some extra grease yet.
You got some extra grease.
I think so.
From way back there?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I got axle grease too, but it ain't from way back there. It's on my bowl, you know.
And it sets so long, it gets hard, and you can't get it out. Sure do. Get your chair in there, baby, and sit down.
No, I rode all the way down here sitting down. I'm all right.
Where'd you start school?
Grandma.
Me? No. Oh.
When did I start the school?
Yes, ma'am. And where?
Chandler, Oklahoma.
Were you there for the tornado in Chandler? Were you there for the tornado?
There wasn't no tornado. They didn't call them tornadoes then.
Cyclone?
It's cyclone.
Were you there for the cyclone?
Yeah.
Tell me
My
about it.
grandma and grandpa was living in we were one block over the street. My grandma and them were over the street. Get off the street, come down. And it's a great big city. You know about the dug well?
Yes, ma'am.
It be dug in the ground like a cellar. Oh, you getting up there now?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead and get on up there.
I'm up here. Go ahead.
It's a dug hole. It's about wide as, or from down there, into that step back here. And they put planks, great big wide planks, you know, across that well. And you had to walk on that plank to go across that well. And I was scared of it. And I still sees that well yet. Was down there, it is right at my grandma and them's house. And then people walk across them planks. And that well was deep. And I still sees that well. And I'm certified they got it closed up now. But the street runs back of it. You see, you go around it. I was 5 years old. I was 5 years old when they was living there in that tornado, a cyclone. There was a bridge back this way from my grandma and them's house. We had to come from the east, this way, down to that bridge to go across. And that storm was coming, and my mama and my brother was behind me, and I was in head. Because I wasn't scared, and they were. And mama couldn't hardly get by, and I stopped on the bridge to wait on her. And grandma was standing in the door. She said, come on, y'all, come on. Come on, y'all, come on. I said, we coming, we coming, we coming. So she just kept standing in the door, waiting. And so we got there. And I mean, it's worse than what it is now. It was cyclones then. These years they call them tornadoes. It was cyclones then. You couldn't see nothing, not a thing. And that cloud looked like it was going to come down and get on top of you. It was so low. And you talking about hustling. My mama didn't have but 1 foot, no hind apiece. And you talking about a hustling old lady, she sure did hustle. Yes, she did to get to that house before that tornado hit. And this time we got to the house, you ought to seen the thing just flying. Yeah, I remember that.
Did you all stay in the house or you get down in the cellar?
No, I'm scared of a cellar. They had a cellar. Yeah, they had a cellar, but we stayed in the house. But it didn't blow the house away. No, it didn't bother the house at all.
What did Chandler look like after it was over?
Do you know how Oklahoma City looks? Some parts of it. But it was just like that.
Well, they just blew all the buildings down there in Oklahoma City? Destroyed, yeah. How many people were killed in that tornado?
Child, don't ask me that. Don't ask me that now. Well, that's when I was a small child going to school. And you know, that's been a heck of a years. And I think, if I make no mistake, my papers are all in China, in the courthouse. And did they say, did you have a grant? Or did they say a storm tore it up? Something like that. And they had to build the courthouse over again in China. It's different from what it was then. Because I used to go by it all the time going to school. And I'd stop and stand there and look at the courthouse. It was a great big building, bigger building than it was in China. But it got all burnt up. They had to build over. Yeah. Just give me time I can think. I wasn't thinking about nothing like this year. You know, all of that'll come to me after everybody's gone. Because I still think about what I done when I was in Chandler, Oklahoma. See how I run that gal.
Tell me some things you did when you were running with that girl.
When I was running,
Yeah.
I was going to whoop her butt. That's why they brought a car.
Why?
Well, she called me a nappy head young, my hair hanging way down here, and hers about like that in red. And then called me, yeah, I was going to beat the devil out of that yellow bitch. I sure was. I call her yellow bitch too. And if I'd have got her, I sure would have cleaned her plow. Yes, I would. I'd have cleaned her plow. Yes, I would. And the teacher knew it. And she wouldn't let me go home with the rest of the children. And she turned out school. I made me stay right there with her. Yeah. Wouldn't let me go home. And followed me too. Kept right on up there with me. And I didn't know. I told her, I said, you yellow bitch, I'll get you tomorrow evening. I said, I'll get you tomorrow evening. What?
Did you graduate from school?
You told him to ask me that. Now you tell him.
Did you? Did you graduate, Grandma?
I'm going to tell you that thing now. Tell him who. See, you think you had smart, and I'm looking right at you. See, I'm too old age to be called a deuce now. And I don't know about no cars either. That's what I said. You two think y'all half smart. I'm just about smart as you all. Now if y'all want to know anything, y'all ask each other.
Yeah, but you know the answers, we don't.
Well, why y'all talking to each other? I'm looking dead at you. Of course, I can't see that good, but yet and still I seen y'all talking to each other, looking right at you. You ain't talking to this one. You ain't talking to that. You talking to that and standing there. Now, what else you want? Want me to knock the devil out of you now? Are you just waiting? What you want to know? Look at it. Look at
What
it.
kind of games you play in school?
Baseball. I can still play baseball.
What position do you play?
None of your business. You lay your things there to see.
Well, I wasn't in the world at that time.
I don't know that. I don't know that. You can fool me. You look like you was that old. I bet you'll never forget me.
That's true.
Yeah. I could play baseball, but the other balls I don't buy.
I'm talking to her now.
I know you is. I'm looking at you, and I'm looking at her. And what else you want to know?
About the old days.
You look like an old day. You ought to tell it yourself. You
Yeah,
look older than I do.
Oh.
Oh, that.
Almost.
You older looking than I am.
I'm just 40.
Well, I ain't.
You're
I
not.
ain't just 40. No. I won't see 40 no more until I get 140.
Hey, about Armistice Day.
Huh?
Armistice Day.
I ain't caring nothing about Armistice Day and Hamilton Day either.
Well, what happened with that big celebration when the war ended?
Man, going back down yonder and ask them white folks down yonder about that war. I ain't trying to keep up with them.
Well, there's black folks in the war, wasn't there?
Well, I'm black and know it, and you call yourself white and you don't know it. Now, what else?
The flu epidemic.
You see the red epidemic too.
Ma'am?
You see a red one too.
A red one.
No.
Tell me about the flu epidemic.
Quit it. You quit it. I ain't no more flu. Quit it.
Back in 1918.
I ain't had no flu.
Well, there's many people around here that had the flu.
I don't know what they had. I wasn't around trying to keep up with these people, see what they had. I ain't had no flu. I don't catch any and everything.
Was your father a farmer?
My father?
Yeah.
I don't know what my father done.
What about your husband?
My husband was a farmer.
What'd you raise?
You know, you had to see it, see the horses.
Yeah.
You
Well,
seen them horses.
what'd you raise on the farm?
Well, I do know. Ain't this a crying shame?
I get Grandma.
No, I didn't.
Wipe your face with that sweat. Still, boy.
Here, sugar.
Still, boy. Boy.
Now you say what?
Yeah, what'd you raise on the farm?
What do people raise on the farm? Do you know?
Corn, cotton,
What else?
wheat,
What else?
peanuts.
What else?
Oh, vegetable garden.
What else?
Peas
Didn't
and
they
cane.
didn't raise peas?
But everybody didn't raise the same
Watermelon.
thing, though.
Huh?
Everybody didn't raise the same thing, though, did they?
What else was they gonna do? This is all farmers. And that's what farmers
How
do.
many pounds of cotton could you pick in one day?
Well, I be dope. Ooh. Let's see. I got the book in there somewhere. I got the book in there where I pick cotton. Where is that? I don't know. You can see for yourself. I don't have to tell you nothing. And I don't know where I put that book. I ain't put out something I ain't got something. Go back to it the next hour. I don't pick over 300 pounds of cotton a day.
How made you pull?
Pull more cotton than I pick, I think. 'Cause I could do that thing, picking cotton and pulling cotton too. Till I learned how to pull cotton, I didn't know what to do pulling cotton. All I knew was just picking it. 'Cause I could sure pick it.
Where was
I
this?
beat myself picking the cotton and I could pull it. Put it in there. Hose would stick in your hand. You didn't have on gloves. Pull cotton. So them things would hurt your hand.
Where was the gin? Where was the gin?
Where was the gin?
Yeah.
It was in town.
What, here in Bowley?
No, I didn't pull no cotton here in Bowley. I didn't say it wasn't. Yes, it was cotton gin here, mill too, and everything was here at that time. Yeah, oh boy did bring cotton over here. Yes, he did.
How many pounds of cotton in the one wagon load?
Name trying to close my brains in.
I don't even have your, let me see, what's your full name?
Mine?
Yeah.
Well, I declare. Y'all come on, Ben Joe. What you want to know that for?
So I know who I'm talking to.
You know. If they hadn't known you wouldn't have come here. Joe got it.
Oh, Ben.
Yeah. Hadn't known you wouldn't have come here, so my grandchildren brought you here. And they told you who I was. So there ain't no need of me telling it over.
Sarah just said great-grandma.
Oh, yeah, they told you what my name was, too.
No, she didn't.
Oh, yes, she did.
No, she didn't.
Oh, yes, she did. I'm alive then, you's a pretty boy. You good enough? You good enough?
No.
What's your middle name? All I know is Frances Hopkins.
Let me get up if I want to.
I said, look here. You want to? Don't hear no.
All right for y'all. Y'all sure can do dirty.
Oh,
Y'all's ornery old folk,
How
you
did
know
we-
me.
How did we do so dirty? We ain't do a thing except you're talking to you.
Yeah, but you're talking about me.
We talking to you. We ain't talking about you. We talking directly to you.
Shut
If you hit me with that stick, I know you're going to get up.
Get some teeth too. Well, I ain't got no teeth.
Come on, Freddie, and do something fun. Do something funny to us.
What Freddie?
Come on.
Yeah, there go my boy.
I ain't no
No, it ain't. That ain't no Freddie.
I know.
Freddie ain't been up here this morning.
What's your
He
name,
must be
Grandma?
sick, huh?
What's your full name?
You know what my name is?
Just Frances Hopkins?
Yeah.
Oh.
Why?
Some maybe you got a middle name.
No.
My name's Elizabeth, Sarah Elizabeth. Your name is Sarah May.
And what's your name?
My name is Novella May.
Novella May. When's your birthday?
July 26, 1937.
1937. And it's mother, daughter, and granddaughter.
Mother. No? Yeah, this our mom, your mama. Mother, daughter, and granddaughter. And grandma.
And great-grandson.
Great-great-grandson.
Great.
Going
that's
back
right.
there.
That's right. That's
All
right.
three
Good
of
things
them.
is right, but they
And
talking
we
about
got three grandmas sitting there.
Hey, so sure is.
And I got two sitting there.
Y'all about through with me? I got to go.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Is that all the information you think you want from me?
Oh, I may come back sometime and get some more from you.
Okay. When you come back, let me know so I know what these are.
Okay.
Francis, this girl, Sarah May, will let you know.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Get on down
And
the
I
hall
thank
with
you too. If Whatever information you know, want to know, if I can give it to you, I will.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. You're welcome. Thank you.
Marie, get that, Mama.
Bye-bye, Mama.
Yeah, be them children.
Now, when you were a little girl, what mischief did you get into?
I never did.
Nothing?
I didn't play with children. No more than playing ball. That's all I played with children when I was going to school. And I don't do it now. You don't never catch me with nobody. You catch me by myself.
How do you celebrate Christmas? In the early days?
I did our spin it.
Celebrate.
So, children don't get that parade. Man, I losing my mind sometime. I know what I'm talking about. But yet and still, I get to stop. I sure will go backwards every time. Then I have to straighten myself up.
What about, how do you celebrate Juneteenth? How do you celebrate Juneteenth?
Sitting right here. I tell you, I don't fool with these folks. I just be by myself.
What about in the early days, when you were a little girl?
I didn't fool with nobody.
The family didn't celebrate Juneteenth?
I don't celebrate now.
Smart up your
The
shoes.
honest way I go when they're having anything down here is when the rodeo, I like to see horses. And I like to see the little girls kick up their legs, have a good time. They fat. And when that's over, I'm through with it. They sit right back here and park it. I don't fool with these folks. See, you catch me by myself. Just like you did do. You didn't catch nobody here but me. Night or day, I'll be right here. Now that boy what you seen come here a while ago, his mother comes over here sometimes and talk with me. And we talk to each other, then she go back home. And that's it. I'm through. I don't visit nobody.
Why?
I just don't. I will. Yeah, that's why he's drunk. What has he been drinking? He sure is stagnant. But he may be sick though. It's after dinner time. Well,
Tell me some stories from the early days. Tell me some stories about the early days.
tell you some stories about the early days.
Yeah.
Man, listen, I got my life to live and to think about now. I ain't got time to be thinking about what I done way back down yonder when I was a little gal coming up. I sit here and think about things myself. Don't tell it to nobody, just think about what I done and who was said and everything long years ago. And now me telling you.
Well, why don't you tell the family what you did?
Mama, how many sisters and brothers did you have?
I didn't have none.
You was the only child?
Honest girl. Didn't have a woman. That boy. James, I just had one brother. That's all. It was just two of them.
Oh.
Him and me. That's all. And if he died, wasn't nobody but me. You couldn't ask him what my mama's name, because he didn't know. You asked him what his daddy's name, he couldn't tell you. He didn't know what mama's name was before he died. He asked me, and I had to tell him, because he didn't know. He didn't stick. There goes Jesse. Where's Jesse staying here? His brother gone.
Put it down. Put it. Now leave it alone.
Gonna have some whiskey, I guess. You want some whiskey? I got some here in the house. Yeah, I got some whiskey in the house.
Not for
Some
me.
gin. Some gin.
Not for
Do
me.
you buy it or make it?
Huh?
Do you buy it or make it?
I bought it.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
You ever make it?
Nope. I can make wine out of grapes, but I don't drink none of it. I can't tell you how the mess tastes. It stinks to me. You don't. What's that he got? He got something there, get it. Because he don't know what he's doing. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Don't bother it. Don't bother it. Leave it alone. Don't bother it.
Look at them socks.
Sir Mary's gonna spank you.
Them socks.
You know Sir Mary's gonna spank you?
How come the family moved to Chandler?
Huh?
Why did the family move to Chandler?
Why?
Yes, ma'am.
Why do people move? You moved, didn't you? You had to.
Yeah,
Be where you is.
I joined the army.
When did you move? When did you move down here then?
Moved down here. I
Bowley.
moved down Bowley before Bowley ever was a town. Called itself a town. Nothing here, just like you see these here woods is here now. Just like you see it is now. Down here, that's the way Bowley was. You had to make your own road going through. When we come here at the Bowley, we come from what is the place name?
Chow?
Let me show you. Oh. And my gal was born down there. That's what just left here.
Winniewood?
Yeah. You see, I couldn't think of the name of it. Well, we moved from down there in a wagon. Right straight through. Right straight on through the country in a wagon. And we left all the rest of the stuff down there and brought what we could on a wagon through here and settled way out down at Chyville on that hill. No, you don't know about it. But it was a church out there then. And a grist mill and everything was out there. Johnson was a grist mill from Chyville going east. And we settled out there in that country. And this road down here from where Charlie Troop, not Charlie. No. Mailman. Now see, when good as I know this boy's name, he can't call his name at all. And he runs the mill every day.
Rosebud.
Johnny Rosebud. Now, on the other side where he stay at, there's a road going there. You see that gallery staying there. Now we done built a new house there, going east. And that's where we come out at, right there, on that old road out there. And I used to ride the horse carrying corn to the grist mill.
Was there a road from Winniewood to this area?
Huh?
Was there a road from Winniewood up here?
No, it's woods.
Y'all traveled through the woods?
Yeah.
How'd you know where you were going?
Didn't know where we was going. We was just going till we settled. That's all. Nowhere. Didn't know one place from the other. And nothing but just all woods.
Then why'd you settle up there? Just look good or what?
No, we just settled there. That's all. And we left there, then we went out to Hillary. Which called Hillary. We went out there. And that's where we moved from. From out there, Hillary, over here to Bowling. Before we moved here, I moved out here on the highway right down here. And my little girl would go to school over here. Well, it was too far back there for me to keep her walking every day. Take her to the Chyville Road. This here main road right here. She had to catch the bus. It was 5 miles through the woods for her to catch a bus by herself in 4 days. And I had to come with her and catch the bus in the daytime for her to go to school. And then I'd go back and go through the woods and go back to the house. Nothing but woods. That's all it was.
Mama, all your kids, did they go to, they didn't go to school. Mama didn't go to school here, did she?
No, she went Charville. Went Charville.
When you moved here in the wagon from Winniewood, what,
Yeah, to Bowling.
what'd you pack in the wagon? What'd you bring with you?
I declare. Ain't this a shame? Man, do you think I can tell you everything I brought from down there here?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you sure is thinking wrong.
Couldn't have been very much, could it? Not on the wagon. It was just like
Yes,
the wagon.
you can too.
Is it
You'd
just
be
like the wagons I
surprised.
see on TV?
I don't know about the wagon.
Well, how'd you pack it then?
Huh?
How'd you pack all the stuff in the wagon?
With my hand. I else you thought you was going to pack the stuff on the wagon if you didn't pack it with your hands. You carried it out there. You can't carry nothing put in the car unless you carry it, can you?
Well, that's true.
Well, that's the way you had to do then. If
So
you
what
packed
things
it.
did you pack?
Huh?
What items did you pack?
Man, hush. Gosh, don't.
Tell him grandma a bed and
Huh?
tell him a bed and
He ought to know that.
your stove.
No.
You didn't bring no
You don't
stove?
bring no stove. You get a stove when you get here. If you can find one. You didn't dig your hole. Get you some rocks. Not like this brick here, but some rocks. I say rocks. I didn't say bricks. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
Rocks.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you know, at them times you get rocks. Wasn't no bricks like this here is now, at all. These here things here just coming in.
Your daddy said he miss you.
When I was growed up, I didn't know about nothing like that. And built, dig a hole, dig it out, like you do for a cellar, and put them rocks down there. You see, and then you take your fry pan, what they call them then, fry pan. You can call them skillets, fry pan, and put it on top of that. You see, and cook your food. Uh-huh.
That's how the Indians cook, wasn't it?
Huh?
The Indians? Is that how they
Indians
cook?
do that now. Some Indians. Some Indians cook that way right now. And eat dogs too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they cook dogs and eat them. Because I know when we was up here at Stroud, that's the way they called the Sac Fox Agency. Them that Indians eat dogs while we was up there. Yeah, they cook them dogs, fatten them dogs up just as big like they would a hog, and kill them and eat them. That's right. He sure did. Because them Indians, I expect some of them eat some dogs now. I wouldn't doubt it. But you feed the dog, that's what they do with them. Kill them and eat them. Yeah. That's the way we done. Just dug a hole. Put something over top of it. Like legs, them bricks, them rocks. Wasn't no bricks, rocks. Cook right along. You can cook, do some good cooking out there. That way. Yeah.
Grandma, is you the oldest person living in Bowling now?
Huh?
Are you the oldest person living in Bowling now?
I don't know. I don't know that. I'm the oldest one down here at the church house. I know that. But now, what is now, let's see. Old man Spears, Border Spears,
That's the man's name out
and McConnell. This one, oh no, I didn't show it to her. It was you, I showed the picture to. And McConnell. Because we all come from up here at Stroud. Nice to McConnell man.
Did you know many of the Indians around Stroud?
I did then, but I don't now.
Who are some of the Indians that you did know?
Man, I can't tell you that. I just know I know them. That's all.
And I expect I've done seen some of them on the TV. But they just got old and everything,
You
and
got
I
some
just
Indian
don't.
in you, ain't you?
Yeah, that's what my daddy was.
That's what your daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Was he
full-blood Indian?
He was Indian.
was he a freedman?
Hmm?
Was he a Chickasaw freedman?
No, I don't know about that name. I can't tell you that.
You know what tribe he was? You know what Indian he was?
Yeah, he was Indian.
I mean Choctaw or Chickasaw or...
No, don't ask me that, because I don't know. I don't know, because I didn't go into it. All I know, I'm here. All I know, what my mama told me, and I didn't ask her what nationality he was, and nothing. I'm just glad I was here in the world, and still glad. I might not show it, but yet and still that's what I am. I'm mixed up 3 ways.
Mixed up 3 ways?
Yeah.
How's that?
To my parents.
Indian?
Black.
Black?
Or whatever.
White. I'm spotted. He's white. I got a horseshoe right here. Out of slavery. My mama was in slavery. And I got that white man's mark on me here. Horseshoe. And I'm spotted. I'm white. That's right. Nobody don't know it but me. It's the first time I told it.
So your mother was...
I ain't gonna tell it no more neither.
Your mother was born in slavery?
Yeah. My mama was in slavery.
In Arkansas?
No, in Mississippi, I think, if I make no mistake. What about it? You moved it with your foot. You see.
What did your mother tell you about the slave days?
I don't know about that.
There was some hard days, man.
He's trying to make me lie.
That's what they did.
No, no,
Well, I lie, I ain't gonna say nothing.
no, I don't want you to lie. Just
I ain't no liar. If I can't tell the truth, I ain't gonna say nothing. I'll
well,
tell
that's
you
what
no.
that's what I want.
Nope, I ain't gonna tell you nothing, cause I don't know now. There ain't no need to ask me that. All these many years done passed by over my head. And think I can think about all these things when I was down here coming up. Well, you asked me what I done yesterday, I can't tell you nothing but went to church twice. That's all I can tell you. You asked me who was there, I can't tell you that. But 1, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. For the little girl sit down there by me. I can't tell you nothing what happened yesterday. I ain't got time for that. I got to try to stay here and live myself. And what these people do don't worry me. Nope, I can't think of all these things. Man.
Well, can I come back sometime and talk to you again?
No, because I ain't going to tell you nothing no more. You trying to puzzle my brain.
I'm not trying to puzzle your brain.
Yes, you is.
We're trying to collect stories of the early days.
Well, I don't know about that. Them gals when they were here, they was asking me a whole lot of dead brain questions.
Who was that?
Now, I don't know who them girls were. I never seen them before. That was the first time.
Huh.
And then they come back again, and I ain't seen them no more. They're supposed to have been back here in December, but they didn't get back. I don't know what happened. And don't care. But I hope they're living yet. Nope.
Well, I think we have enough information for this time.
And the next time too.
Well, you may think of some good stories. me see. Today's August 3rd, isn't it?
Uh-huh, yeah.
1987.
Yep, that's what it is.
What's your address here in Bowley?
Hmm?
May I ask what your address is here in Bowley?
Bowling, Route 1. Block 172.
172.
I think I'm getting it right. I see that, Miss Keaton.
Okay. Ma'am?
Come here and look yourself.
I look what is right
Come on. Come on.
Right.
See, don't you see an envelope up there?
Yeah.
What does it say?
Well, this is Frances Hopkins.
What else? You know what it say what?
This is 517 North Pecan.
What
Box
else?
172.
Yeah.
74829.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. See, I know what it is, but I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Let you go see for yourself. Because it's in black and white.
Well, I think we have enough information. This time.
And the next time?
Well, and I'll come back the third time next time.
You can come back 20 times. I ain't gonna tell you nothing.
Why?
Because I ain't.
I'm a nice person. I try to be.
Oh, is you?
Yes, ma'am.
Bless your heart. Yes, you very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice. Very nice. I don't see no fault in you at all. Not yet. Did I tell you? I'll tell you in a minute. I got one woman up yonder praying. She's a clerk in there. She's real tall. Me and that woman has a time when we hit that store. And when I get to the door, she goes and she grins. I don't know who be grinning, me or her. I mean, we just grin and hug each other, and then other people just stand there and look. They done got used to us now. She said, I just love you. I said, I love you too. She's a sweet person. I don't hate nobody. Now, when I was coming up, now I would hate you to death. Ooh-wee, and fight the fool out you too. Sure would, yeah. But I done changed. You couldn't get a word out of me if it'd been a pretty good while ago. See, you wouldn't have got a thing out of me. I'd have told you where to go. See? Then if you wanted to go to Fish City, I'd went with you. Because I sure would have pulled it out on you and give it to you. But I don't do that no more. I have changed a lot. I take more now than I ever is in my life. A person couldn't just peep at me. I tell them, quit peeping at me and take a damn good look at me. Don't peep at me. But I don't do that no more. I let you run over me now. See?
Oh, I wouldn't run over you.
Don't say a word. Not a thing do I say to you now. You couldn't get a pleasant word out of me at all. No kind of way. But I have changed from that. A different person altogether. That's right. I sure is.
Do you have any questions you want to ask me? That you can think of?
No, I
Oh,
can't think
just
of,
go shit.
I can't think of no questions.
You got time to be talking. Just in here. That boy come here and brought me that pay. That's his brother. He used to be in California. He's drunk. He burned up everything he had. And then in California, he was able to come to bed. He got to come city to his sister. Mama got chemo. But see, she comes down here and gets his mama and tells her on chemo with a third. And so, in Spencer. That's where they stay in Spencer. And we come down here in a chair and mama to Okina. Yeah. see, she had to stay with them white folks because some of the folks died, and the girl had to go there and be with them children so they probably go to the funeral. And this fool here, he came over here and he drunk. I don't like those people. I can't live in mine. I don't fool with none of them. No, I don't. Is you satisfied?
Well, not yet. Are you satisfied?
Mm-mm.
Why?
Cause I'm not.
Why?
She's nice. She's nice.
We want,
Go ahead.
Yeah, we want you up here on the pictures.
Go ahead. That? Ain't you gonna smile?
no,
Why not?
cause I'm not.
Give me one good reason why.
Huh?
Tell me one good reason why.
Cause I ain't.
Go ahead, Mama. Smile.
Now she gonna smile.
Go ahead, smile, Mama.
You moving her head now.
Yeah.
This is my grandma.
All
My-
the grandma
and
you
my
got.
second Mama.
She's the oldest, the oldest grandma I got.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking about you when we come down from Oklahoma City. You was in the seat, and baby, Frances was driving. Now, it was one old one and one young one. One old one, one young one. You remember you saying that?
Uh-huh.
And none of us hadn't thought about it but you.
Hey,
And you said,
hey, look at me. Give me one of them
you
things.
want to knock the devil out of you. You ain't close enough.
I ain't.
No. Come on up closer.
If I ain't
Come
close
on.
enough, you'll hit me.
Yeah.
Come on, and talk about me while you do it. Talk about me.
Now, you satisfied?
Is that close enough?
If it ain't
Yeah,
close
can I
enough,
get
you're
you-
closer.
Get one, hold it. Grandma, can you hold Frank?
Come on, baby.
Grandma hold you. Take a picture with Grandma. Got these twigs sticking up here.
Now, you satisfied?
We got you
Not
now.
yet.
That's all the film.
Goody. I wish you didn't have Nan that blame you.
Sounds like that.
I'm gonna beat the devil out of you.
Sounds like
I'm gonna get my gun and shoot you.
Excuse me,
I'm
my
gonna get
name
my
is Jesse
gun right out here and
McCarroll.
shoot you.
Well, give me a good reason why.
Cause you acting ugly.
I'm not. I ain't acting
So
ugly.
you come. Yes, you did. You come right here.
I need to get a good close up of you
Oh, I see.
I'm gonna put this.
Okay,
For-
honey.
for the cover of her book.
It's all right.